I'm going on a quest.
Hey, how are you?
Hello, Canada.
You like the dunk tank?
Walk over glass. Hey, rep, kiss my
We messed up. Things got out of hand. Drake's is in bad shape.
Don't take my gold away.
You wearing your rubber boots tonight?
Season 3 of the Rubber Boots Pod is brought to you by iDrinkCoffee.com, the best coffee and espresso machine supplier in the country, bar none. And by the Gansevoort Resort in Turks and Caicos, absolute paradise, the #1 resort on the #1 beach in the world. And hey, if your company would like to sponsor a segment on the pod, DM us on Twitter or Instagram at Rubber Boots Pod. Lester, hit it before we fire your ass again.
Season 3 of the podcast. Duthie's Rubber Boots Podcast. We want to thank you for listening. We're sure you never thought we'd last. Oh no. We're gonna talk nothing, very little sports with your host Jimmy, Jamie, Young James. And now you know for sure that it's gonna be a blast. It's gonna be a blast, oh yes, this is the podcast.
You ever had a clump of hair product in your hair?
Yes.
And it's clumpy?
Yeah.
Like what do you use? What do you use, Puff?
For my hair, like
Yes.
when I'm...
when you're going out on the clubbing.
Oh, I some kind of wax. I don't
Yeah?
know the product name.
Okay. So I use a same thing too. What do you call it? It's a...
Like you kind of like...
Like a paste.
Yeah,
I
well,
use-
mine's more like a gel, it almost looks like.
Right.
It's like clear.
Sometimes, so I use a paste.
Yeah.
It's a cheap one. Jeff O'Neill and I use the same paste. You get
Yeah.
it at like Shoppers Drug Mart. It's just a little white paste.
Yeah.
But sometimes if you leave it open, it gets a little dry and clumpy.
Yes, it does.
And I don't really take a lot of care. And this morning I had a big clump in there.
Yeah.
And you can't get it out. And sometimes it goes on air and people see the clump and then you get a whole something about Mary thing.
Is that a hair gel?
Yeah.
Great. I could use
No,
some.
don't. You don't have to. You don't.
I just ran out.
Sometimes to touch it up on air, I put a little gel
Yeah.
on top of the thing. And the gel can get clumpy too. And once you get the clump in there, it's hard. Can you see the clump?
I can't really see it.
Okay,
no.
so I got most of it out.
Yeah.
All right.
The
Hi,
hair's
everybody.
looking good.
Great for the podcast, by the way. All the viewers.
I never felt so lucky to have no hair.
We got a big crisis on the podcast. Lester has to go to the dentist today,
geez.
so he may not be able to finish. And secondly, he's getting all of his teeth removed.
Well done.
Do you have any big... Is it a crisis that you're going to the dentist for?
I just have a filling that's come loose.
Smile for me. You got beautiful teeth. Do you have... Are those veneers?
You know what? The
You can
two
tell me.
front teeth are actually cubic zirconium. They're actually not my real teeth.
Cubic?
Not- well,
There's
the-
cubic zirconian teeth?
Well,
I thought that was like a fake diamond.
Yeah, no, not yeah. It is. It is.
So you wanted to get the wrapper diamond teeth and you couldn't afford
Well,
it,
I
so you got the
guess
cubic
so.
zirconian teeth?
It's some type of
That's fantastic.
of tooth thing. Yeah. So,
I don't know. I did like the Invisalign. I'll say that the Invisalign
what's
braces.
that? Oh,
It's
yeah?
like you wear it to sleep. Well, you're supposed to wear it all the time. It's like invisible braces. It's like a mouth guard, basically. I did that a few years ago.
Yeah.
But I don't know the veneers.
Why you didn't have braces as a kid?
I did, but you get a brace when you're 14. Things go a bit wacky
Yeah.
sometimes.
you got nice teeth, though.
Oh, thank you, Lester.
You're welcome. Puffy.
That's not so much.
I've never been prouder of this crew. By the way, welcome to episode 2 of season 3 of the Rubber Boots Pod. I neglected last week. I always think there's new listeners probably coming in, and we don't never really explain ourselves very much. This is a podcast about, what's it about, Puffy?
It's about
Gambling.
games and gambling and weird situations.
Yeah, just
lots
weird,
of song though.
weird stuff, lots of music.
A lot of music.
Lots of some sports, even though in your new
Little
theme
bit
song you say not much
Not much
sports.
sports.
Yeah.
Very
There's
little sports.
Definitely,
Some
we're going to do some
sports
sports today.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to do a Stanley Cup.
I'm excited about the NFL
season preview
season.
thing.
Toronto
I
Maple Leafs
almost said a
Stanley
playoff preview. Damn, that season went fast.
Wow.
But we're not going to do the typical. We're doing our. This is what day is today? Tuesday. We're doing our season preview on TSN tonight. On the Rubber Boots Pod, we don't do any of the typical BS, all right? This will be a very different Rubber Boots Pod edition of the season preview.
But equally as informative.
Equally as informative and entertaining. The reason I said I've never been more proud of you guys is because we don't do any work on this pod. We just kind of show up. Lester
works.
Lester does stuff.
Work
I've
or
been
beat.
proud of him. Stoff does all the work.
A lot of work.
Puffy,
Zero work.
I don't.
I come up with a hypothetical.
Yeah, that's
once in a
something.
while.
That's something. But this week we had all this stuff coming in. And you guys were just sending information. Like Lester, we have an interview, our internship intern. We have our first finalist on later today, a gentleman by the name of Scott Reynolds, who's produced music for us.
Yeah,
he's in
funny.
Berlin, Germany. He's our first finalist.
I didn't think this search would be international, so...
Oh no! This is going to be—it's going to be like the Kavanaugh hearings. We are going to vet the hell out of these people. Every little piece of their life is going to be.
He's going to regret
overturned. Oh yeah,
he's going to regret this.
He will be on by the end of the 10 weeks. If you come back on, he'll say, "You've ruined my life."
Yeah, he'll be out of the job.
I like beer.
I ruined the day.
I like beer.
I have to admit,
I really like beer.
that Kavanaugh. Some of the quotes are just fantastic.
Matt Damon doing them was fantastic too.
Look, I like beer, okay? I like beer. Boys like beer. Girls like beer. I like beer. I like beer.
What the hell else? So anyway, he's coming on. You guys submitted lists of questions you have for him.
Yeah, I have a hypothetical.
Right. We're doing this NHL season preview. You guys came up with topics and things for it. Stoff single-handedly revitalized one of our most popular segments. Ladies and gentlemen, the Rod Smith Recap.
Look who's back again. Roddy's back. Tell a friend. Last week, Duthie held some sort of preseason podcast scrimmage, which, with the absence of yours truly, was not worth listening to. But to invoice, baby, one must recap, baby, as Duthie did with this summation of his eventful summer.
I fell off the boat.
At least Puffy got his priorities in order.
Yeah,
You drank all summer and hung out with your kids.
yeah.
We all got an update on the podcast intern search.
Megan Wong in cybercrime. And remember, she was in
We were a
cybercrime.
little worried. Well, we might have to hire her, otherwise she might come after us.
I don't think Megan knows what she's getting herself into.
Send dick pic to Cheryl, the biggest one you
Yeah,
got.
the one that shows well.
So, Lester's dick pic?
Too bad you don't have enough data to pull that stunt with little Roddy. Anyways, lastly, Lester shared an embarrassing tidbit about our friend Ray Ferraro.
At one point,
Yeah.
brought home the clarinet to play.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
And his father told him, never bring that home again. He sounded so bad.
Poor Ray. Must have scarred him. Luckily, Roddy doesn't have to play his own clarinet, and the sounds are always immaculate. Till next time, kids, this is Roddy for Episode 1, Invoice 1.
Good to have him
That
back.
is fantastic.
Good to have him back.
Fantastic. Yes.
I didn't know what was going to become of Roddy this year. Whether we'll do the recaps all year, where Roddy's going to go in his relationships.
Anything could happen.
It's going to be very exciting. Lester, I do have to bring up the fact.
Story time with Lester?
I've heard some rumblings that there are some people that are unhappy with me. Is this the case?
Not unhappy.
No, what are you talking about? I don't know.
Being chirped.
By who?
Somebody.
We were chirping
Definitely
you, definitely.
chirping.
Okay.
Well, because you came in last week before the podcast started, and you said, "I got some good stuff on Ray."
Got the goods.
And then you came up with it was the great Serious Lester moment, because you would never come up with Ray was caught with a hooker in Bangkok or something like that, which is what Puffy and I were anticipating.
Yeah, come on.
Instead, it was Ray tried the clarinet as a kid and was
And
terrible.
was unsuccessful at playing it.
No, I just, for me,
Burn.
I just thought it was funny from the context of his father saying to him,
Lester,
"Do not bring that home."
You don't have to. You don't have to make excuses.
Yeah.
We love you for that. You have a childlike innocence that is one of the great charming things about
sure.
you. Right? We love it.
Oh, well, thanks.
I mean that.
It just wasn't what we were expecting.
Yeah, we just
Came to dirt.
wanted more dirt. It's like the same thing when you first came on the pod and we were all excited to get all your road musician stories, and you're such a perfect guy that you don't have any of those, there's no panties,
No debauchery.
and stage and debauchery. I mean, we're disappointed in you, but we still like you. Let's get to the week that was. It's brought to you by idrinkcoffee.com.
Let's discuss the week that was with James Duthie and the Rubber Boots Podcast crew.
I only had have one personal story on the week that was. Furthermore, to my dogs, who are always entertaining, they had the raccoon incident last spring.
Yes.
The raccoons who got into the house. So yesterday, my daughter lets the dogs out, and I'm doing a radio hit.
Okay.
At the time, and I hear my daughter screaming, like high piercing screaming. And so I know it's something. I figure like a coyote. Are you on Tinder or something right now? What are you doing? What are you doing? I could just see this photo on your phone. Like I'm trying to tell a story.
I was trying to find it because I wanted to.
You have a picture.
Did you read it? Did you read it?
What?
This film is dedicated to the memory of Thomas Shepard, who was buried alive during the making of this film. His scene was ultimately cut. What is that?
From a movie I saw today.
Okay, can you pay attention now?
Yes,
because you have to. I'm telling the story, and I look over at Puffy's phone, and there's a photo of a topless young man on the phone.
Could have been worse.
I thought you were doing full grinder.
Hey, come on.
So I'm trying to do a radio hit. I run out into the backyard.
Yeah.
And my Boston Terrier Buddha, who's a sweet little dog, and but he's blind. There's apparently an injured bird.
Okay.
And he's fat, and he's got the bird in his mouth.
Yeah, you know how the bird got injured?
No. Like Buddha's blind. He can't even see the bird. I think he thinks it's a toy, like a squeaky toy.
Yeah.
So Gracie is screaming because she loves all creatures, living or dead, and the bird, so the Buddha puts down the bird because he's terrified because Gracie's screaming.
Yeah.
And the bird, like, he's injured, but he's trying to fly. So he flies a few feet, and the two dogs are now chasing him.
Yeah.
He flies like 4 feet, pounces down. Gracie's screaming. I am trying to talk about the Ottawa Senators. I'm like, well, if the young kid... So I apologize to my listeners and whatever the hell market I was on, and I think I was in Kingston.
Now, but what's the etiquette with the radio interview?
I usually just tell them what the heck's going on, but this one I tried to hide because it was right at the end of the interview, and I was in the middle of a fairly serious question.
And 99% of the time you're live, right?
Yes, always on radio. Always on radio.
Because yesterday I was hanging out in Studio 6.
Mm-hmm.
And it was quiet and it was dark in there, and then Dregs came in there and scared the crap out of me.
Okay.
And he's like laughing and thought it's so funny. So then I was walking by his dressing room, which he now has.
Dregs has one?
He has a dressing room.
Wow.
Everyone's getting a dressing room in here. And I could see his door was kind of open, and I could tell he was doing a radio interview. And I was going to kick the door open and scare the crap out of him.
You should have done that.
But I'm like, would I have gotten him in trouble or anything, or would have been?
Yeah,
fine?
I kind of have rules about not mixing. Once work is involved, do anything unless work is involved.
But that thing is radio really work.
I remember the time you told me somebody, and I know who it was, but somebody pranked you.
Rashad. I think I told it on the pod. The night before the draft, he did a wake-up call for me at like 4 a.m.
And you had to pull him aside, and you're like...
that was our one... Because, just the draft was a big show back when we had it. And, that
still goes on? They still do a draft every year?
I don't know. I think they stopped it as soon as we lost it. Yeah. So anyway, the bird got away. Everything ended happily.
I think you just possum that bird. I think that bird
Well, the bird might be dead now, but
I think
when I last saw him...
You put that in the garbage.
When I last saw him, he was alive. Did you guys see... It sounds like... Bragado? What do you say when you brag?
Humble brag?
Bravado? Macho bravado.
Yeah, I was going to say the piece that we did on the beer miler.
Oh, it was fantastic.
So, okay, first of all, I'm going to little anybody who gives me credit, because people send you notes on Twitter, it was I come in, sometimes I will do those pieces and I'll be involved. I'll do interviews and write them. In this case, and quite often is the case, they just use your voice. This was one where it was Rob Dunn, who's a great producer here.
Yep.
I just come in, voice it, he does all the work. And then we take all the credit. That's a great thing about this.
But I did find that the piece was a bit flat except for the read.
Yeah, the read saved it.
The beer mile is a feat of athleticism and gastrointestinal endurance all rolled into one.
Don't you think? I mean, if you had, say, some
if
second
I was
rate...
doing the read,
well,
that would
let's say you put, Nabil or something on it.
Would have been horrible.
I'm sour at Nabil because it was International Podcast Day last week, and
I think I saw that.
And he said, "Hey, I listened to Jalen and Jacoby and Bill Simmons. Those are my staples. What do you guys listen to?" And I'm like, me and O'Toole are both like, "Hello."
Yeah,
jerk face. So Nabil's never coming back on. He's never entering my dreams anymore.
Yeah, see you later, Nabil.
He's out.
So anyway, for anyone who didn't see it, you can go on to tsn.ca and find it. But there's this thing called beer mile, which and it's an event. It's not just something they do for jokes. I guess they do it for jokes in places, but real competitive. There's competitive races. You chug a beer, you run a lap, you chug a beer, you run a lap, you chug a beer 4 times till it's a mile.
Yeah.
Basically.
It's all dependent on this last beer. This is absolutely incredible. Corey Bellamore comes down the straight.
This Canadian...
They have a chugging zone, which I love.
Yeah, it's 8 or 9 meters
9
long,
meters
and you
long.
have to chug by the end of the zone or you're gone. So this Corey Bellamore is a Canadian runner who the very first time he tried this, his buddies say, hey, you should try this. He set the world record. Him and his buddies went out to a track, and he set the world record. He has those. You have those buddies that can just open their throat and chug a beer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could never do that. Can you do that?
I can chug pretty good, but I can't do it like those guys.
Yeah, so he can basically chug a beer in about
Rod Smith,
5
I'm
seconds.
sure, can
Roddy.
do that.
Oh, yeah, Roddy can go 20, 25 deep if he has to.
Yeah, like...
He's a legend.
How are those fries, Susan?
So this guy did it. The first time he did it was like 4:36, and now he's down to 4:20. Now remember, Roger Bannister ran the 4-minute mile. That was a massive point in history.
Yeah.
That was 50 years ago or something. Probably more than that. I don't know.
A long time ago.
But still, humans haven't changed that much.
No.
A 4-minute mile was a big deal. This is 4:20, chugging 4 beers.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Stopping to chug the beers, and you're running with 3 pounds of beer in your stomach. And the belch, like, could you drink 4 beer in 4 minutes and 20 seconds?
Yes, for
You
sure.
think you could?
100%.
You'd be, and
You do it now.
Would you puke?
No.
You don't think you could? I think we should do the beer mile.
Wow.
Yeah, for sure.
We will all puke.
No, I think I would puke because of the distance.
Yeah,
of
we'll
the
puke
run.
doing the mile. Well, maybe let's make it shorter.
Yeah,
we
should do the 40.
Let's combine this with
And then
the 40.
drink a beer.
Yeah.
Oh,
do a
okay.
40,
Wow.
drink a beer,
40?
do a 40, drink a beer, do a 40.
drink a 40,
Drink a 40
then
and
you do
then
the
run
40.
40. Yes, I was going to say.
Okay, but
40,
is the
40.
40 enough, or should we make it like 100? Because you have to be drink. So do a 40 time and see how our times go.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna have to really orchestrate this.
Oh,
so you will
sure
run
they'll
4
give us a couple
40s in a
weeks to get
row
this done.
with the beer.
Yeah.
It can't be a work day.
They can't be here.
Oh, the other thing is we got to come back. Yeah, we can't do it here.
I don't think they'll let us have.
Come on, Sean Redmond. We mentioned his name on
wait
the
a second.
podcast.
You're
We
not
know all
allowed
the
to
rats.
drink at work? When did that start? That's got to be some new policy.
You know, when I came in the old days, I came into news in Ottawa, and all the bosses at the front had the Mickeys in their desk. It was like literally the Ron Burgundy years.
Wow.
You do not know how much I wish I was like a news person
In the
like
70s?
the 60s or
it was
70s.
legendary.
Smoke,
Darts going.
Never mind.
You'd be smoking.
That
you'd be
was.
drinking.
I mean, I started in 1989, and that was the era I came into. Butts and booze,
so
just
much fun.
filling the news.
Like imagine it's like I gotta go to work and then you just go and work and get loaded.
We used to run a show on Classic called The Sports Hot Seat. It was an old CTV show hosted by Johnny Esau, and there's like a panel of people, and they were smoking. It's great. It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
it's so cool to watch it.
I mean, smoking's terrible; it kills you. But I mean, it was fun back then when we didn't know.
Well, the crazy smoking on planes was the wacky thing. Like smoking on planes was around when I was a kid.
Yeah,
Like,
I
you'd fly to Jamaica, and there's 40 people doing darts on Ward Air.
Before like Air.
Ward Air or Quebec Air.
Oh, Quebec Air. That'd be. Even the kids would be smoking.
We were in St. Lucia, stuck for 20 hours waiting for a Quebec Air flight.
But I mean, I remember like my parents smoked, and I'd be in the car, and they just have the smokes going, and like it's just a cloud of smoke in the car, and I remember not even bugging me at all. Like it didn't like.
It's what you knew, though, right?
Yeah, I was so.
You know?
And then I remember once they stopped smoking in bars. Now when I go to a bar in the States and they're smoking, it's like, oh god, it didn't bug me before.
Like Vegas.
Vegas
in
was
those
terrible,
casinos,
yeah.
it was terrible. I remember I think I was working in Vancouver and had an assignment in California, and we went to a bar, and that was the first. I'm like, what is going on in this bar? There's something different about this bar. And my cameraman said to me, there's no smoke here. They banned it in California. I think it was the first place, and it was so weird.
Yeah.
To be in a bar.
You'd come home from the bar and your clothes would reek.
Yeah.
It meant you had a good night.
Yeah.
So anyway, we got to get Corey Bellamore on, the world champion in the beer
I
mile.
mean, I'm not saying he's the greatest Canadian athlete right now, but he's in the running.
Yeah. So we have. There's nothing more Canadian than being able to chug beer and run a mile. Well, I guess it would be skate a mile.
And like he runs, like he pounds them back. But did you see it? Well, at the end to give away, he got disqualified.
He got DQ'd because he
had too much left in. Which I was kind of when they were showing him doing it, I'm like, but how do they know they're drinking the whole thing? Well, they measured afterward.
I was kind of that guy at parties sometimes in high school, that left a little bit at the end. wanted to impress the ladies by drinking 8, so you didn't really drink 8. You drank like 5.
What's a bigger disappointment, that happening to Belmar or Ben Johnson getting his gold stripped from '88?
I think it was Belmar.
I think so. Wow. I was more gutted.
Well, one last thing before we leave the week that was the Ryder Cup. I know by the time you hear this, the Ryder Cup will be old, but I'm a big golf fan. I watched every second of it on the weekend.
Hold on. How's that possible? Did you go to Europe to watch? Because it started at like 2 in the morning.
I PVR'd.
Oh. That's possible in this day and age.
Way to go,
Didn't
kid.
expect that answer.
Good job, Columbo.
Is this 1999, Puffy? What is that device? Did you tape it on your beta?
I guess that's true. I just don't PVR live sports.
So there's a bunch of things. I hate getting into news that's fresh on Tuesday because by Thursday we don't know, but there was stock that Dustin Johnson and Koepka were in a fight on the plane there, and then in the party afterwards, all sorts of weird stuff going on with Team USA. But I was cheering for Europe. I always do. I cheer for like the Americans I like I like Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth. I cheer for those guys. I like Tiger, but I cheer for Europe overall. Do you cheer? You would probably cheer for the Americans.
I cheer for Europe. Yeah, even though I love Tiger more than any golfer ever.
The Europeans just embrace it, and they're so buddy-buddy. It's fantastic.
I hear you.
They're usually the underdogs, although they win every time.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll say this though. Since '99, when who was it that made that huge putt in '99?
Justin Leonard.
Okay, Justin Leonard. Since '99, Europeans have been way more aggressive. Because I remember in '99 when that happened, the Europeans were a little bit insulted that the U.S. were carrying on like that. But now every putt,
well, you know what the story of that thing is? He made that putt, and all the Americans ran over.
Yeah.
There was still a European who had a putt to tie the thing,
yes.
and they ran all over his line, which is about the worst thing in etiquette, and celebrated like they won it. Anyway, the point I was trying to make is the Euro Tour. Keith Pelly, who used to be our boss and then stole the rights away from us, the bastard, but he's still a good guy, runs the Euro Tour, and they've come a long way with very cool videos. And I wake up the morning after the Ryder Cup, and there's this video with Francesco Molinari, who went 5-0, and Tommy Fleetwood, who went 4-1, and they're in bed together, and it goes something like this.
How good was that for you?
4 out of 4?
Yeah. I'd give you 5 out of 5, Frankie.
Okay, so in retrospect, maybe you had to see the video. Go on to my Twitter feed, but they're both naked lying in bed. How was that for you?
But
4 out of 4, 5 out of 5.
So when would they have shot that?
Jeff O'Neill. Should we put him on? Should I answer?
Yeah, put him on.
Always answer.
Okay, just so you know, we're taping the pod right now, and I put you on speakerphone, so anything you say will be on the podcast.
Buddy, off. I told you never to do this again.
Why do you call me in the middle of the podcast then?
You did your podcast 2 days ago.
No, we did. That was the one that came out. We're doing another one right now.
You're a loser. Bye.
That's pure gold from Jeff O'Neill.
You know that's going to make the show.
In the little blurb about the show, you got to say, joining us,
special guest Jeff O'Neill. We got to do that.
Because all my buddies love it when he's on, because he's ripped.
This week's special guest, Jeff O'Neill.
All right, Jeff, your thoughts.
That was not set up, by the way. No. That was Jeff actually calling to probably ask something about our preview show tonight, like what time does it start, because he never has a clue. The week that was brought to you by iDrinkCoffee.com.
Middle of the morning, can't keep my eyes open, cause I got to have a cup of jabber. I got to have a cup of jabber. So I better log on to iDrinkCoffee.com. iDrinkCoffee.com.
See, we had the little sponsorship plug at the beginning. If you sponsor the podcast, then this is the kind of magic that can happen to you. You'll get Lester to do a song if you're out there. Because I Drink Coffee loves their song.
I'm in love with it.
It's such a good song.
And then last week, he debuted this. We're about to do our NHL season preview. And I thought Bruce McLaren, who runs the Gansevoort Resort, our new sponsor, he's a huge NHL fan. And so why don't the Gansevoort sponsor the NHL season preview?
You work too hard, you need a vacation, so be like Jimmy and go to Turks and Caicos. Luxury and class of 5-star resort, you must book the Gansevoort. A nice dealer at the Gansevoort. Come to the Gansevoort.
Every time I hear that, it takes me to the beach at the Gansevoort, cocktail in my hand, They have
What's
this
your
little-
go-to cocktail at the Gansevoort?
I like the fruity stuff. I will drink a lot of beer, but they have this little pink bar on the beach now where you have like pink champagne and you lie on like a pink bed, basically. Really fancy.
You do that with Cheryl, or you do that by yourself?
I do that by myself after she's left.
You're just pounding champagne on a pink bed.
Okay, it's our NHL season preview, brought to you by the Gansevoort Resort in Turks and Caicos, the #1 resort in the world. IMO. That's what the kids say for "in my opinion."
Oh,
just so you know
what that means.
So we don't want to do your typical predictions, although we'll do a quick one here because you thought maybe we should do it like Murder Island.
Yeah.
Forget the Stanley Cup playoffs, but at the end of the season, what teams will make it to Murder Island, and then what will survive? Right? Is that the way-
Stoff had that idea.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, it was Stoff.
Kids bringing it on.
He's really bringing it.
Having a big season.
Do you want me to You want me to do my predictions real fast? We're making it to Murder Island from the Atlantic, Toronto, Tampa Bay, Florida, in that order. From the Metro, Pitt, Washington, Philly. The wild cards, Boston and CBJ. That leaves Jersey, Buffalo, Carolina, Rangers, Montreal, Islanders, Ottawa, Detroit. Murdered before they got to Murder Island. They didn't make it on the bus to Murder Island.
Wow.
And they were gonzoed. West, Vegas, San Jose, Calgary. I don't think Vegas was a fluke.
Vegas, really?
Yeah, Central. I think Vegas is better.
Really?
Yep.
Pacioretty, Stastny, they're better in both positions. Winnipeg, Nashville, Minnesota, Wildcard, Edmonton, Colorado, out, St. Louis, LA, Dallas, Anaheim, Arizona, Chicago, Vancouver, gone, murdered before they get to Murder Island. Then the murdering begins, and the last 4 survivors are Sidney Crosby. Sidney Crosby's in a death fight with Mitchell Marner in the East, and Mark Scheifele is going tete-a-tete with Erik Karlsson in the West on Murder Island, and it ends up being the winner, the last survivor. Crosby's dead, and Mark Scheifele, Blake Wheeler, win the Stanley Cup in Winnipeg.
Over the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Wow.
Yeah, I have your Toronto Maple Leafs going out in the conference final.
That's pretty good.
I have them winning the division, but then something goes wrong because it can't be the perfect season. I have no explanation for it. I just think something will go
Or
wrong.
can it?
Jake Gardiner throws a sauce up the middle to Malkin. See you later. Boom. Out in 6.
That's pretty good.
All right.
I was talking to Marty, and Marty offered me a bet.
Biron?
Yeah. It was, he gets Toronto, Tampa Bay, Winnipeg, and Nashville.
Okay.
And I get the rest of the field.
Who does he get?
Wow.
He gets Toronto, Tampa Bay, Winnipeg, and Nashville, and I get the rest of the field.
I would say I would rather be him than you on that bet.
Yeah.
But that's not a bad bet. Like, a lot of stuff can happen.
And I said in lieu of money, the winner gets to shoot the loser in the head.
Wow. What is wrong with
So
you?
one of us is in trouble.
What is wrong with you?
And do you both
So
agree to
that's
that?
the stakes, yeah. So
Why do I like kicking the ball?
go Penguins.
I guess so. I don't know if I'd take that bet. That's a good
The
bet.
only thing for him, though, is that he has Tampa and Toronto, who are both in the same division, and Winnipeg and Nashville. So he can't have a
He
Final
actually
Four.
only has 2.
He really only has the potential of conference finals.
Well, unless
Two
there's
out of-
wild cards, though.
No, but
Thanks, Stoff. You just screwed me. I'm going to die.
You got a problem if he's got a gun. Never mind the divisions.
Exactly.
All right, so let's get to some of our other scenarios. Puff, you came up with one that said, which GM will more likely to have Pierre Dorian on speed dial so he can steal from him again
Like,
when
does
he
he
gets
even
in
take
trouble?
calls from Doug Wilson anymore? Like, it'd be like, no, Uncle, I just made you into a cup contender.
LeBron was saying to me that Dorian's not mad at Wilson, and I don't know. I mean, they're going to say that publicly, that he's more mad at Florida or whatever because he tried to get a deal done with Florida before. For some reason, they didn't do it on the Hoffman. And but yeah, I think there'd be some bitterness in there. Someone will try and get Mark Stone during the year. I think at some point.
I feel like that feels like a Toronto. A stone for future prospects.
Do you know that somebody could have signed Mark Stone to an offer sheet last year, and it would have been impossible for Ottawa to match, essentially? If they signed him to a 1-year deal on an offer sheet for whatever, let's say it's $9 million or $8 million, Ottawa would not have been able to match that because if you match the offer sheet, you can't trade the guy for a year. And so was Stone eligible to become a free agent, they couldn't have traded him at the deadline before that, and then he just would have walked on free agency. So somebody could have royally screwed the Ottawa, and that's why it shows their collusion, because someone could have done that. Like, that would have been perfect for Toronto.
Yeah.
To have
They
Mark
had the
Stone
money
for a
this
year, and they won't only given up, I don't know what they'd have to give up for that, a second and a third
I
or
think
something.
teams just don't
That
do
was
it.
pretty cool. I mean, I remember that, and we were going to mention yesterday we did a thing here at TSN called TSN Fan Access.
Right.
And that came up yesterday, and that was just fascinating. Absolutely.
So TSN Fan Access, it's myself and the insiders.
Yeah.
And all the TSN people are so excited to come see us. It's a jam-packed house.
So your colleagues decide that, yeah.
I was looking in the crowd, and I think Drager said at the end, okay, how many of you were forced here by your boss? Or, like, there weren't, I think there were some fans.
I do know that there was some bosses encouraging employees to go.
TSN Access?
Yeah, not at Fan Access.
A question period at the end.
Yeah.
Suddenly there's a lurking shadow at the back.
Yeah.
With the microphone.
Uh-huh.
And he comes in and says, hello, my name's Lester McLean. I have a question for the panel. I'm like, I'm familiar with him. And then he asked a serious Lester question about, of course, what do you think?
Montreal Canadiens.
No, the lockout.
Serious Lester.
Wouldn't that be the ultimate serious Lester question? It's like...
We talk about the future lockout.
Guys, I would like to ask a question about the Montreal Canadiens, but I'm really concerned about the lockout in 2 years from now that could jeopardize the season.
I thought in the context of the conversation it was an interesting...
Once again, Lester, we always mock you, but it's because we love you. You ask an intelligent question, and here I am making fun of you.
Did anyone ask any funny questions?
And we're making you miss your dentist appointment right now.
I'm not looking forward to it. It's fine.
What else did you want, Puffy, for the NHL preview? This is so far the worst preview ever.
I said a player most likely to pull a biz nasty and get his team kicked out of the hotel.
Ooh, Lester?
Ooh, that's a good one.
I would say Brad Marchand, maybe. You know, although he does most of his annex on the ice.
Did you see? I was going to say Ryan Johansson. Did you see his walk-off?
That was amazing.
I want him to do that in a playoff game.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. I'm going to go with no particular reason. Brett Burns. I think he's going to do something. He could do something like that.
It would be crazy. Who's most likely with Joe Thornton trimming his beard?
Yes.
Who's most likely to have the, Burnsy's kept is to have the next wild NHL beard? Maybe you look right on that same team and it's Erik Karlsson who gets inspired by Burnsy. He's already got what Burnsy calls the pirate look.
He does have a pretty good Pirates of the Caribbean look.
Yeah. Could you grow? You should grow a wild beard.
I think I could grow a wild.
You're very hairy.
I'm very hairy.
We've established that.
I have, but
could
I'm
you
not
grow
like,
a wild chest beard for us?
I could
that would
probably
be
amazing.
do that.
I could also probably do a nice ass beard too.
Oh, come on. That was wrong.
I'm gonna say Jordy Ben would have a pretty be in that conversation.
The Habs, that's good. That's very good.
It's the guy I know.
Shea Weber, maybe he goes in that. He's the captain.
He's
now.
the captain. No, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Mitch Marner, now that the gloves are off and Lou's not dictating.
I think Mitch would have the same beard as mine, which would be spotty. And I tried to do the goatee this summer. Did we talk about that?
No,
you did. I didn't know.
I've never seen you with facial hair.
I had a decent goatee, but
really?
I can't do this. The sides are just too spotty. I have like little bald patches here.
You look a little like a pirate too, I think.
It wasn't a good goatee, but by my standards, it was the best one I've grown. Like, I think I've reached 18-year-old average man facial hair now.
That's all right.
Yeah. So my son was growing it with me, and his was the most pathetic goatee I've ever seen. We both had it down to Turks and Caicos. So unfortunately, he has my...
The ladies must have just been turning.
No
Island
hair.
Although
no
you did have a very impressive physique in Turks and Caicos.
Yeah,
you did do the post. That was very nice.
I know. Thank
you like that, Puffy?
Oh, the ladies did, yeah.
I did like
There was a lot of chatter.
18 sets of lat pull-downs before that. Puffy also suggested more gifts. McDavid or Gritty. More gifts on the season.
Wow.
I think Gritty is going to be the breakout star of the...
Do you think Gritty is going to have lasting power, or Gritty's just a fad?
I think it's going to be.
It seems like it's definitely turned. Like, I mean, when they first released it, there was a lot of backlash, but somehow they've fallen in love with him somehow.
Well, the Oilers mascot, that Hunter, it got backlash and it never got good.
Well, you got to go. I appreciate the Flyers. You got to go full bore.
Yeah,
you got to go full out and make it completely nuts.
Yeah,
right. It's like Yuppie on crack, and I think that's
so good.
That's an awesome thing.
That's what they've done.
The San Diego Chicken was the best. Does that still exist?
Yeah,
the San Diego Chicken? I think the guy who was the San Diego Chicken was some guy named Ted something. He might be dead by now. But this chicken in my era, like the 80s and 90s growing up, the chicken was hilarious.
Philly Fanatic's pretty good.
Philly
too.
Fanatic's pretty good, but
And now it's gritty.
Yeah, it's all about gritty. Anything else before we leave? This is the worst preview ever. Did you argue with any of my choices, by the way?
No. I think your choices are good.
All right. If Connor McDavid doesn't win here's a better question for you. A bunch of guys dropped off our top 50 this year, but Taylor Hall and Nathan McKinnon were not on the top 50 last year.
Yeah,
and they went to 3rd and 9th. That's incredible.
That is crazy.
So who is the guy?
Especially for guys who wasn't like it's a young player. Like they've been established,
Right.
and then they all of a sudden blew up.
Who's the guy who's down on the list or off the list? I don't have the list in front of me, so I can't do it. Who's the surprise star at the end of this year?
Oh, that's a good question.
You know what I mean? I shouldn't even say surprise. It could be a guy who was a star before.
Yeah, I mean, both those guys
could be
were-
Carey Price.
It could be
Who's
Carey
falling
Price.
off our top 50.
I hope it is, yeah.
Who's the guy? Is it Mitchell Marner, who's on our top 50 but is like 40th? Is he the next superstar?
He could easily crack the top 10 because
Yes.
he could easily have 100 points
Yes.
this year. Just power play alone, like they're going to get.
I would
power
argue
plays.
that he could lead the Leafs in points this year.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and
Which would be-
No, I think you're right.
Yeah.
which would not be good for the salary cap.
Well, I said they should have signed him now. They could have got him for 8.5. It could be 11 or something ridiculous by the time he gets there.
I always remember that happens with PK, and they, you know what? They signed him to that 2-year bridge deal, and what happens in that 2 years? Number one, Dion Phaneuf gets $7 million a year from the Leafs, and number two, he wins a Norris. So it's like, okay, well, $9 million it is. Thanks.
The other guy I would say is Matt Barzal, who is on our top 50. These are not out of the ballpark picks, but without Tavares there, he's now the man to go through, and it's going to get all over the power play time.
I think they're going to be in trouble, that team.
What about Jack Eichel? Did he? Was he on the list?
That's a great question. Yeah, I think he was somewhere around 30th. But you're right. It's not that he's been forgotten, but just because he hasn't been healthy and the team's been such garbage, I don't think we talk about him with the Matthews and the McDavids of the world. But you're right.
But yeah, if he lights it up and the Sabres make the playoffs.
And I'll say as well, because of in hand with that Jeff Skinner, if possibly, I mean, he could possibly get it going. I mean, I know there's a lot there with his injuries and stuff like that, and concussions. But listen, we were talking about Sidney Crosby being one hit away as well, and he's back. So
Breaking news for you. This is what we like to break in with stuff.
This is CNN Breaking News.
The San Diego Chicken. This is from. I feel like Wolf Blitzer, who was in our dream last week. What was Wolf? He was married
to Natasha.
Natasha.
What's the matter, Jimmy?
Wow.
Wedges for days.
This is from our correspondent, Christoph. The San Diego Chicken was fired in 1979.
79?
Wow.
I was 13 years old. I thought the chicken was into my 70s. They must have got a new chicken.
What could you do?
I don't know. This chicken kept on going on its own, though, after he got fired from the radio station. It says here in 1981, he injured a cheerleader and had to pay her. Sorry, in 1991, a Chicago Bulls cheerleader was injured, and the chicken had to pay $300,000.
Did they name the guy? His name was Ted something. This is my memory from my childhood. The guy who played the chicken was like a mustached 70s guy named Ted something or other.
This says Ped Jana.
Thank you. Yes, that was the chicken. He probably, maybe he was doing, he was getting a little, what would be the word handsy? A little wingsy.
Let's just say you had to get really wingsy back in 79 to get fired.
Perhaps his drumstick was where it shouldn't have been.
Is that enough of a season preview? We don't like to overdo the thing with sports. Is there anything else you want to know, Puffy?
Yeah, well, no, Leafs are going to win.
Well, I mean, I had the question about which TSN reporter would be happiest at the end of the year.
Well, why don't we do one middle of the season happiest at the TSN reporter happiness rankings? A big part of what we do. Yes. Puffy usually does it in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So who will be the happiest at season's end? Okay.
It could be Brent Wallace because the Ottawa Senators will not be playing postseason hockey this year.
You're right. Could he go from dead last in our rankings to the happiest?
Yeah, because
but not during the year. He'll be miserable.
Because the other thing is Toronto will be doing well, so he won't have to cover Toronto.
I'm going to make a prediction.
So he's going to have like little time off, I think.
Mid-season, by the All-Star break, the happiest will be Ryan Rishaug. Because the Oilers will be back.
Relevant.
They'll be in the running, and he'll feel relevant again.
Yeah.
By the end of the season, he'll be tired and exhausted. And
they might go around and
grumpy.
They might make the playoffs.
Yeah. Maybe 99 Sarah Oleski.
Well, she likes to work, so she'll be happy if the Jets go on a deep run.
Mark Masters also will be thriving on the whole Leafs thing.
But it could cost him a couple of tennis gigs.
Exactly. I was just going to say that. He's not going to Wimbledon if it goes well.
And then Shinetti's all of a sudden going over to France for.
You know who runs?
He died, didn't he? Oh no, he survived his fall last night when I dropped him from my.
He
Eagle
scurried away
Palace
like
last
that
week.
raccoon.
You know who runs the table? Was happy all throughout the course of the year?
Who?
Farhan. Think about it.
He's only happy during football.
Yeah, it's all based on his high school football team. You got to know that.
He's only happy because they won.
I'm
the
talking
championship.
purely professionally.
If they go like 4-6 this year, he'll be furious.
That's our season preview. I think it was a stunner. I think we did 90 minutes. Well, we're about to do 90 minutes. By the time you listen to this, we'll have done 90 minutes Tuesday night on TSN. And I think in the 9 or 10 minutes we did this, we got a lot more accomplished than that entire 90-minute show with all the BS from Bob and Jeff O'Neill and Dregs
Power
and
play.
Craig Button and his hot
money.
seat. All that stuff. So this is exciting. It's time for our first intern, the intern thing. I got to think of a better name, don't I?
The
internship? Is that what it is? Where you intern to be the intern.
Yeah.
So we have
Intern
currently
internship.
6 or 7 people that are interning to be the intern, and we're going to interview them one by one.
Yeah.
And the first candidate is a guy named Scott Reynolds, who is coming. But Lester, first of all, working hard this week, came up with a wacky new internship song.
Rubber Boots Podcast intern search. We need someone to mail the merch when listeners win contests. Coffee, t-shirts, changes, but we need something you're on the hook. Bring copies to the set. Help pay off Puff's gambling debt. Just be there to scratch our wrist. The bottom line is you'll be up. Shut your mouth. Hey man, I'm just talking about the Rubber Boots Podcast intern.
That's fantastic.
I'm going to have to listen to that 9 times because I hadn't heard that before.
I won't be memorizing those lyrics.
No, that was very confusing. I felt like I was high. But that leads us to our very first double I, the internship intern guest. Our first finalist is Scott Reynolds. I think we mentioned last week that he'd written a song that we'll play a little bit later. Scott Reynolds joins us from Berlin, Germany. Welcome to the pod, intern possibility.
Hi guys, thanks. I'm happy to be here. I just wanted to say off the top, I'm really happy to be joining a podcast on the rise. I know at the beginning you guys had guests like future Hall of Famer Roberto Luongo and Hollywood star Sean William Scott, and then last week you interviewed a hotel employee. So
and
happy things are going in the right direction.
And this week we have Scott Reynolds.
Yeah, exactly.
Our first question, did you drink excessively to the point of blackout during your time at Yale? No, we're not going to Kavanaugh hearing you, buddy. But tell us a little bit about yourself. Where the hell are you? What do you do? Why do you want to be an intern?
Right. Okay. So, right now specifically, I'm just standing outside my favorite bar in Berlin, which is a great craft beer bar that's actually run by a couple of Canadians, incidentally. Just about to head over to a concert, actually, as soon as we're done talking, so I'm looking forward to that. So I'm over here. The short version is my career is classical music, and I came over to do grad studies and ended up getting a job around here, and so that's where I am. That's where I am right now, and not drinking. I am outside a bar, but not drinking to the point of blacking out yet, at least. So
what good could you do from us, Berlin, Germany? Like if we came over, could you get us into like the hot clubs like Das Praga? I don't think that's a club, but we made that up. I figure there probably is a club called Das Praga.
Well, I'm personally not actually into the clubbing so much, but that is like a really big thing around here. I know that Berlin's like a great club city for people who are into that. But yeah, I actually wanted to talk about that. The whole aspect of the internship where you're expecting people to do work and stuff like that. I don't know if that's going to, like, the thing is, the other intern people, they kind of sound like they're, very serious about maybe having a career in sports media or something like that and learning how social media works, actually. And maybe you should hire, like, 2 interns. You can hire someone to be, the intern that does work, and then I can be the intern that, writes dick jokes and stupid songs and stuff
I'm sorry,
like that.
We already have a Puffy.
Kind of more my...
Yeah, that's my role, buddy.
Well, I should say one member of the podcast is already feeling a little bit threatened because Scott is, as he mentioned, a musician. Classical musician. And as his first thing, as we said, we wanted the intern candidates to, show us their creativity.
Yeah.
And so Scott sent us a theme for the internship quest. Here it is.
Intern update theme song. If they don't pick Scott, they got it wrong. I don't mean the other Scott. Everybody knows he has no shot. Intern update theme music. The other finalists can suck my dick.
Very good.
That's very good. Lester, I don't know.
Well, I don't think it's appropriate to curse in my songs, Scott. I'd like to know is, do you think you're going to come here and steal my job? Do you?
That's Lester's question.
I'm actually,
Just kidding.
guys, I'm very happy that I have the opportunity to talk about this with all of you here and Lester here right now. So the other song that I sent in, I actually put that one together in July in the summer. And because I don't have, you could probably hear just now, I don't have any professional recording equipment. That's just my computer, so it kind of sounds like ass. And so what I did was I wrote on Twitter to Lester, because I was hoping that he would maybe collaborate with me on the song and we could put something together.
Oh, and he ghosted you, didn't he?
I had no idea.
Wow.
And he big-timed me.
Wow.
I didn't hear back from him.
I didn't.
So I'm worried that I'm threatened. I don't. I tried, man.
I would have got back to you, Scott.
Tried to get in touch. So.
Well, listen.
Thanks,
if that is legit, I truly apologize. I did not see that. I honestly do not spend a lot of time on Twitter. So. No, I'm an Instagram or Facebook guy, to be truthful. So,
all right, fine.
Well, you know what I mean.
Now
you know what, Scott? Good luck with this job. Clearly, I'm going to get fired again. I think it's about a baker's dozen, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I got to say, the other song, although it is a complete annihilation of my character, I quite enjoy. We're going to play it in it's a little long, so we're going to play it in its entirety at the end of the podcast. But it's essentially how I've said many times on the pod. Puffy accuses me of being a Sens fan.
Yes.
I say that's not true. So Scott, in a musical lyrical fashion, makes the case that I am a Sens fan. I also must say you have I've only heard two of your songs, the theme for the internship interns and this song, and you have a bit of an obsession with dicks because you included them in the lyrics of your first song. And I'm just going to play a quick snippet from this song where the lyrics, well, you can have a listen. Here it goes.
Says it doesn't root for any team, but we're supposed to believe this talk. When everybody knows that it's just a lie. The size of Rod Smith's compound.
So he didn't actually say...
Yes. Compound.
He said compound. It was a play on words. He did a very good job. So we know you can do songs. We have Lester. If we do fire Lester, that's a good place for you. Do you have any other skills?
Like podcast related skills? I don't really know. Like,
that's what we're doing. I don't care if you can jackhammer.
Although I have a Renault coming.
We don't have any either, so actually it doesn't really matter. Puffy, do you have any questions for
I actually
Scott?
have a hypothetical.
Oh, of course.
So if you were on a date in a busy Berlin restaurant and you receive an urgent message from me where I asked for help coming up with a hypothetical, how would you react? So would you A, immediately ignore your date and start working through hypotheticals with me? Ignore my plea for help and send me a just seeing this now message? Or get the attention of the entire room you're in, let everyone know that the great Puffy from Toronto needs your help. And this is great because he's a kick-ass guy, just like the Allied soldiers who whooped your asses in World War II.
Yes!
Which one would you go with?
Well, definitely not the last option.
Oh, come on.
Because, I don't want to make it through my meal unmolested. So, that's I got to say, if I can go off the board a little bit, it would depend on the girl and the date.
Are you hooked up? Do you have a lady? Do you have a lady friend?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I'm single right now, and I don't know. Here's what I'd probably do. My move would be I would look at it, I would not say anything about it, and then within a minute or two, I would excuse myself to the restroom, and then kind of I guess, half-ass my way through a hypothetical thing to send to you, and then get back to the date. So, I'm trying to compromise a little bit, I guess.
That's
the
fair.
best I can offer you, because it's a situational thing.
Yeah.
And but I am, Puffy, if this is endearing to you at all, I am actually waiting I'm waiting on the result of a soccer game that should be over in about 25 minutes between 1899 Hoffenheim and Manchester City, and if it remains tied 1-1, then I'm going to have a big payday. So
in the 65th minute.
Yeah, Puffy's got 400 on that.
I'm also betting on that game.
Actually?
Yeah.
What did you bet on?
I got Juventus, Man City, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, and Roma in a little parlay. Pays $350 if I win it. So I need City.
That's the... You need City. Oh, I need tie.
So wait a second.
That's what it's
we have our first intern candidate on from Berlin, Germany, and he throws out a random football game, and you happen to have money on the game.
Not random. It's Champions League.
All right. He's got it right there. Ready.
Lester, any more questions before we let Scott go?
Scott, are you prepared to oil down Rod Smith, baby, should he request it?
Sorry, oil him down? Should he request it?
Yes, that is what I said.
If he comes to Berlin, then sure.
Wow.
All rules.
He will be in Berlin.
Apparently, all rules are off in Berlin.
What is the German Tinder?
What is the German Tinder?
It's called Tinder.
Wow, sounds fair. I didn't realize I spoke German.
Very well done. By the way, what instrument do you play?
I'm a trumpet player.
Oh, nice. Fantastic.
Okay.
Listen, buddy.
What was Ray's instrument?
Ray was a clarinet player. Scott, thank you so much for doing this. We love your creativity. Again, we'll play Scott's song, his entire song about me being a Sens fan at the end of the podcast. And I'd say you're an early favorite, the way he's performed so far.
Especially the gamble.
How old are you, by the way, Scott? We never asked. How old are you?
I'm 28.
All right, that's fair.
That's not bad.
Fair.
It's good. He's been around enough that he's got experience for us. He doesn't quite fall into our
He's the most worldly of candidates.
It's our wheelhouse.
Yeah, that's we're not really. It's a big wheelhouse.
Well, we got one guy. That's my point.
I got to put that down. Lester's wheelhouse. 28-year-old German men. All right, Scotty.
Up, Lester. I can make that happen for you.
Listen, buddy. Have a good one. We really appreciate you doing this. Continue to send us your original ideas and cross your fingers. Well, I don't even think you actually care. I think probably Scott cares the least
I think
about the internship. But you're always going to have a place for us. Even if we fire you, we may do a Murder Island type scenario, you can still send us your songs, and if they're better than Lester's, we'll fire Lester and play you. Got it?
Yeah, great. You can fire Lester. He can go off on vacation and send more sad messages about how the Habs suck ass.
Hey, you know what you got to do, Scott, too? You got to take some time in the next few weeks, no hurry, and do a version, or maybe get your entire orchestra to do a version of the Rubber Boots Guys song. If you got the entire orchestra to do it, you would have the internship. I'm going to declare it right now.
That would be a winner. That would be a mic drop.
Okay.
All right.
I highly doubt that.
That's not going to happen. Right. Get lost. I'm withdrawing my name. All right, Scotty, thanks so much for this, buddy. Talk to you later.
See you, Scott.
All right, thanks you guys, too. All right.
That's Scott Reynolds, Scarborough boy, now in Berlin, Germany, and very entertaining. I think you'll enjoy his song at the end.
Yeah,
I feel very badly that I ghosted him. I really and truly did not realize that.
Wow, I did not see you as a big timer like that.
Yeah.
I mean, we knew you blew up because of this pod.
Yeah, I know.
But not to the extent of just boom.
Yeah.
El Blanco on the Twittero.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
Technically, though, it would have disqualified him if I helped him, right?
No. I've helped like 4 of the interns.
We have no rules.
Good to know. Good to know.
Puffy's already DMing all the female. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Puffy's happy.
1999 Puffy.
1999 Puffy. Maybe we should introduce 1999 Puffy as a character.
That would be a great character.
Imagine the material there. Oh my god.
Would Tanya approve of us introducing a 1999 Puffy character?
She doesn't really listen anyways.
I think any of us in 1999 would be. If we could get
going on.
Maybe we should do a hot tub time machine version of the pod where we fly back and we have to be ourselves in 1999.
That is a great idea.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah, I think
that's like a Christmas special, right? A Christmas special.
Yeah, I think that would be. Okay, so where the hell are we? Okay, well, we have one more segment to go, and it's called Puffy's Hypotheticals.
Puffy's Hypotheticals, who really gives a crap? All the ladies want to hear is the Rod Smith recap. Blah, 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 blah. Roddy is the best. The best.
All right, Lester, we've made him a half an hour late for the dentist.
I know,
give the hypothetical. He can go first, and then he can get the hell out of here.
Okay, so here's the hypothetical. Would you rather be stabbed with a knife or stab someone with a knife? You will not suffer any long-term injuries, or you won't go to jail if you're the stabber.
So would you rather
just have
be
to
the
live
stabber
with the emotional scars
or the stabby?
Well, I mean, emotional. Is this just a random thing? Do I have a quarrel?
Have you listened to hypotheticals before?
Quarrel with this person? That's what I want to know.
Oh, okay. So
right? I think that's fair.
I guess
bar fight.
Yeah.
Bar fight? Okay. No, I'm stabbing the guy. Forget it.
So you're the stabber.
Yeah. Why should I be the in the situation?
So here it is. If in your situation, let's do individual situations. Someone jumps up on stage and is a little aggressive in their love towards you. So they either stab you or you grab a knife out of the inside of your guitar and you stab them.
Actually, keep it in my back pocket.
Okay.
But
switchblade.
So you're going to stab.
I'm stabbing. I don't.
You're going to stab that 85-year-old woman.
Right in the middle of an Elton Rancho. Right in the middle of Benny and the Jets.
Benny.
Oh my God! Let's stab somebody!
Elton Ron's a pro. He would just keep going.
All right, so you're going to be the stabber?
Yes,
You're
I'll
the
be the
stabber.
stabber.
All right, go to your dentist appointment. Let us know how it goes.
I will.
And save a couple of teeth, okay? We need you on the show.
Not,
Thanks,
not
guys.
take them all.
All right, that's Lester McLean from the Lester McLean Band.
And also from the Rubber Boots podcast.
And from Elton Ron.
Yeah.
And from...
Grave Diggers.
Yeah, Graveyard Group.
Bone Collectors.
Grave.
Hold on, I have a breaking news.
This is CNN Breaking News.
Manchester City has scored a late goal, so my bet is still alive, while poor Scott's bet has just gone in the toilet.
Oh, so that was the one that Scott was betting on too?
The Hoffenheim draw did not play out.
So how many... you played a 5-game parlay?
5-game parlay.
And you are... How many have you got?
2-0. And now looking at it, I'm up on 2 of the other games, but I'm losing the Real Madrid game right now.
4-0.
1-0. It's only 1-0, and it's very early.
All right, so you got a shot.
So
that's the difficulty in parlays. What are your kids on in on these two?
Well, they do dabble in parlays themselves.
You see, no. What's my scenario? If Lester was the band scenario, would I be on live television? Would that's the way you, or you just want me to do a bar fight?
No, I think for you it's going to be.
I'm going to tell you right now. If it's a bar fight situation,
yeah,
I'm going to be the stabber.
You're going to stab someone.
I'm going to stab someone. It's going to give me some street cred. I'm not going to get caught. He's not going to die or anything like that. It's not going to ruin my night.
Hold on. I didn't say he wasn't going to die. I'm saying that you will not die if you're stabbed or suffer any long-term physical.
I might murder the person.
Yeah, or you won't get caught if you do the stabbing. You just have to live the fact that you now have a taste for blood and are capable of murder.
I love this one. Okay. I think I'll get... You know that my taste for glory is I would like to get stabbed, especially if it was on a live air situation, because then, there'd be the vigils outside the hospital.
Now, if
Everyone
I didn't
would be
show
there.
up for your vigil, if I was this sent you a text, would you be pissed?
Sorry, bro. Can't make the vigil. Watching AC Milan.
Hope all's good. Keep fighting the fight.
Heart emoji. Prayer emoji.
I have a crying one.
Fist bump emoji.
Is it like you have to be at the vigil? What's this vigil thing? It's gonna.
I would be. Maybe Scott Reynolds is going to be my new Puffy if he's not the intern. I would have someone outside recording everyone who was at the vigil, because I would be keeping
You would definitely be a namekeeper. I would
sure.
be. I'd be.
And then I'd go to I go to the hospital window.
Yeah.
And get them to open the window, and I do like a thumbs up out the window or a fist bump, and the crowd would go crazy.
I think you actually want to get stabbed.
I think I do.
If you could get stabbed and you wouldn't suffer any long, would you Like, but you could handle the
actual pain at the moment.
Like it's going to be painful.
I got a pretty good pain tolerance.
Yeah, see, that's my problem.
Yeah.
I'd like the idea of getting stabbed or shot, but I don't know if I could actually handle. I might kill myself just out of fright.
Yeah. No, I would definitely suck up all the sympathy. Now, if it was a lone wolf situation, okay? Let's say I'm lost in the woods and some psychopath living in the woods, a Jason Voorhees type situation.
Okay.
Then I would rather be the stabber, because then I would walk away guilt-free. Like, especially if the guy jumped me, in the woods at night.
Yeah.
And then I pulled out my switchblade and I got him
right
in the abdomen.
A 1950s greaser? You got a switchblade?
Hey, I watched The Outsiders, man. Then I'd like to be the stab. But if it was any sort of public situation, I'd rather be stabbed than that I'd suck up the sympathy. Did you answer the question yet?
No, Should
we wait for Stoff?
Yeah, Stoff first.
Okay.
So what's my scenario? Someone else trying to produce the podcast?
Someone bursts into the booth.
Someone bursts into the booth.
Or when your car is pulled over on the side of the road and it breaks down for the 19th time.
Late at night.
Yeah,
I stabbed the car for sure.
It's a dicey tow truck guy.
Yeah.
Who's he wants to steal your Polish record collection out of the back.
That's going to be a rough go. So if I stab the guy, he can die, but if he stabs me, I can't die?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and to borrow a phrase from Lester, I'm not going to be the get the stabbing.
Get the stabbing.
Get to stabbing. When you name your podcast this week, it's got to be called Get to Stabbing.
Get to stabbing.
Puffy, your answer?
And I think I would be more like you and I'd want the sympathy and the visual. Because I don't think I wouldn't like to know that I have that ability. I'd like to think that I could never kill something.
Right.
Or someone.
Where are we getting stabbed? Like if it was in the eye?
I always kind of picture like the shoulder, chest, upper chest area.
Right. That would be like the action movie when you get stabbed,
I kind of
right?
want that. Maybe in the I guess you don't want to get stabbed in the back.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the bag.
That was just like a pitch. Oh! That was the mutilation.
I think
maybe in the leg. No, I think the shoulder.
I don't know. You're right. Like, how much pain could we? Maybe we should get a person who's been stabbed on next week. Preferably one who analyzes dreams.
Maybe one of the interns.
If any of the intern candidates have been stabbed, or if anyone who didn't apply or that we didn't choose as a finalist has been stabbed, you're a guaranteed finalist if you write us and you've been stabbed before, because then you can go through it. And I don't mean, like when you're 7, your sister scissors, got a little cut.
Got to be a real stabbing.
Got to be a real stabbing, legit stabbing.
Now, if you got stabbed up in the shoulder, how long would you keep the bandage on that's kind of wrapped around?
Like 4 years.
It'd be all over. It'd be like so dirty and black. I'd
be in the Gansevoort on the beach, and they'd be like, "What happened to you, Mr. Duthie?" "Oh, yeah, stabbing. I got jumped by a bunch of Cubans."
What do you got against Cubans?
I don't know. Just the first thing that came up to me. Okay, that was a very good hypothetical. I enjoyed that one.
Thanks, buddy.
It's a real life situation. The thing is, with the stabbing, what I'd want to know is how much is the pain going to last? Like the instant, the pain right away. But do you think once you get to the hospital, they get you a little morphine, you're fine?
No.
Or do you think the recovery is going to be long?
I think you're probably looking at least 2 or 3 weeks where you're going to feel pain. I mean, it'd be like also when you have surgery or something, right? You have and that's a proper incision.
The other way,
stabby jerky motion.
The other way, you have to live with them having killed someone.
Yeah, you have the taste for blood. You're capable of murder or attempted murder. It means you're unsuccessful at something else.
Do you know you're never going to get caught?
Yes.
Right. So you're not. You're not living with the fear of looking over your shoulder.
Now, would you like
popo?
Yeah. Would you want to? Could there be a way to take somebody out that's wronged you?
Right. Darren Dreger for you.
Dregs, I got you back for scaring me.
And if you stabbed him during a radio hit, that would be amazing.
That would be.
He's on there with TSN, whatever it is, 1080 in Vancouver.
Then I would show up at his vigil. Just be like,
yeah, guys, I think Brock Besser's going to have oh my God, I've been stabbed.
If that happens now, will you suspect me?
I think I would.
I've now given away too much evidence. Destroy these tapes.
Okay, so that was Puffy's Hypotheticals. Lester's gone. It was a good week. We had a lot on there this week.
Busy.
We jammed a lot. We had a couple of special guests. Jeff O'Neill.
Jeff O'Neill. We really got to build him up in the blurb.
And, of course, Scott Reynolds, our first candidate. We'll have another one. I don't know if we're going to... Are we doing this week by week? Or, sometimes we forget and we might skip a week.
Yeah.
But we have lots of other people to get to. Maybe we'll get to one of the ladies next week.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Talk to Laura Cope and Megan Wong.
Megan Wong from Cybercrime.
All right. Continue, by the way, all you intern finalists to send in all your ideas. A bunch of people have sent in a ton of things.
Really?
Yeah. And some really good ideas. I didn't want to get to them this week because this was Scott's week, but I'll get to the other one.
We have a lot of time to fill.
The other Scott, I love how Scott Reynolds mentioned the other Scott
it's so good.
in his song. The other Scott said in a bunch of good things as well, so we'll hear from him as
Battle of the Scots.
So Scott Reynolds wrote a song, as I mentioned earlier in the pod, about me. I'm not a Sens fan, by the way. I've told you that before.
Jimmy, there's nothing wrong with being a fan. These isn't like those are olden days when you got to be impartial.
Puff, you think I share everything with you?
I don't. You do love the Ottawa sports scene.
I love my hometown.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with cheering.
My mom and my dad, God rest in peace, my father, they love the Sens. My mom still loves the Sens. So that you can't help but be.
And you grew up a sports fan.
I did. But I don't know.
You've been in dressing rooms with
that
Radek
organization
Bonk.
Actually drives me nuts. I have hung out with Roddy Bonk a little bit. I partied with Lonnie Gleiberman. What more Ottawa can you get than that, right?
Exactly. You're like a big deal in Ottawa.
One of the great Ottawa local stories was Lonnie Gleiberman. His girlfriend got in a fight at a bar I was at, the Yucatan liquor stand. I think she was a cheerleader, or did she get in a fight with a cheerleader? I can't even remember the story, but it was a big Ottawa scandal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Has everything you want in a scandal.
So here's Scott's song that he wrote about me allegedly being a Senators fan, and you can enjoy that, and we'll see you next time on the Rubber Boots Podcast.
To be neutral, but journalistic integrity doesn't want to piss off the fans in the other Canadian cities. But there's a love that lives like an ocean in his heart, but he has to hold it in like an emotional fault. Not talking about the Habs, the Leafs, or the Pens, man. But Duthie, we all know you're a Sens fan. Needs to hide his love for his favorite team in sports. He could get fired and then have no cash for a villa at the Gansevoort, even though he denies it time and again, man. Duthie, we all know you're a Sens fan. Says it doesn't root for any team, but we're supposed to believe this talk, when everybody knows that it's just a lie, the size of Rod Smith's compound. Don't worry, Duthie. I know the Sens had a rough year, but they'll bounce back. They've still got a lot of good, productive players in their prime, like Mike Hoffman. Oh, yeah, he got traded. But, anything's possible when you have one of the best players in the world, like Eric Kerr. Yeah, he's gone too, isn't he? Well, at least if they're really bad this year, then they'll get a really high first-round pick next... No, Colorado has their draft pick, that's right. And that video. What the hell was that? Pretty effed. That's right, everybody knows you're a Sens fan. Duthie, we all know you're a Sens fan.
Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight?